Shalom, all praises to Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shah. This is Teller Nicholas with the Noble House of St. Nicholas, Vintage Saints of Israel and House of Jacob. Today, I'm getting into the Hebrew Israelite Smith family. All the Negroes with the surname Smith from the Americas, Caribbean islands, Europe, Africa, and all those scattered abroad with the surname Smith, all right? Before y'all guys was slaves here in the Americas and then Caribbean islands, you guys was royalty in Europe. You guys was royalty in the Netherlands, England, Germany, Ireland, and Scotland. You guys was somewhere before you was here in the Americas and the Caribbean islands. And it wasn't Africa. It was Europe, all right? And we ruled the Dark Ages from 500 AD to 1500 AD. And from 1500 AD to the late 1600s AD, we slowly fell into captivity, all right? House by house, kingdom by kingdom. And the Caucasians that wear the name Smith in the Dark Ages was in the outskirts of Europe with no names. You could Google that history by going into Wild Men and Moors, and it'll briefly touch up on that. But before I go into it any further, I'm going to go into some scripture. I'm going to go into Sirach 2 and 16 to 18, all right? And it read, "They that fear the Lord Yahweh will seek that which is well, pleasing unto him, and they that love him shall be filled with the law. They that fear the Lord will prepare thy heart and humble their souls in his sight, saying, we will fall into the hands of the Lord Yahweh, and not into the hands of men. For as his majesty is, so is his mercy." All right. So now I'm going to get into the Hebrew Israelite Smith family. You guys is 2 million, over 2 million strong in America alone. In America alone, y'all over 2 million strong. All right. And before y'all was in the Americas and Caribbean island as slaves, y'all was in Germany, the Netherlands, England, Ireland, and Scotland as royalty. And I'm going to get into it. Now, Smith is an Anglo-Saxon name. The name was originally given to a metal worker, the blacksmith. It is derived from the Old English word smid, probably derived from smitten, which meant to strike with a hammer, as a metal worker was such a common and important profession in medieval times. This name and its cognates are extremely widespread throughout the British Isles and Europe. However, there is some debate as to why the occupation of blacksmith will lead to such a popular surname. One might expect that farmer, also an occupational name, but with far more people involved in the profession in the Middle Ages, would today be a much more popular surname than Smith. It is probably a futile exercise to try to establish a single source for this amazing, monumentally prolific surname, and they could just narrow it down to, beside the fornication, being a metal worker, a blacksmith was very important because you deal with weapons, you know what I'm saying? And everybody need weapons, all right? The early origins of the Smith family. The surname Smith was first found in Durham, in present-day Northumbria, northern England, where an Old English version of the name is cited in circa 975, almost 100 years before the Normans would invade this part of England. Some of the families moved to Mount Thorndon in Essex. The Church of Mount Thorndon is a handsome evidence containing many fine monuments to the family of Smith, among which is one to Sir Thomas Smith, Chancellor of the Great and Principal Secretary of State in the reign of Edward VI and Elizabeth. So that's somebody that the Smith family would want to research, all right? Sir Thomas Smith. And remind you, us Negroes, we was the first sirs. We was the first knights. We was the first Templars. It wasn't the Caucasians. They was in the outskirts of Europe as wild men, and if they wasn't that, they was our servants, all right? Wootton Hall in Wootton, Warwickshire was early the seat of the Smith family, of whom was Lord Carrington. And that's what y'all would want to look up Lord Carrington also, who at the Battle of Edge Hill bravely redeemed the royal standard, as is recorded on his monument in Christ Church, Oxford, which is probably whitewashed. Over the front entrance of the hall are the arms finely executed in relief of Lord Carrington. All right, so this is the Smith history, man, and I beg that you guys look into these names because it's gold in these names. All right, it's our history. Our history wasn't erased. Our history was stolen and whitewashed. All right. So yeah, and there's more. The extensive manor of Mitchell Morton, which stretches into the parishes of Kirkhampton, Morewinstall, and Jacobstall. What names? Morewinstall and Jacobstall. Those are Hebrew names. And Cornwall and Week Street, Pancras, and Denbighshire is generally dominated from this parish. This large manor belonged about the year 1660 to the family of Smith. All right, Smith family. So these names are the names of your ancestors, all right, that have been paused in history for a reason, all right? The Smith family is 2 million strong alone in the Americas. It's time that you guys gather up and remember that y'all family and gather up unto the Mashiach Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, all right? You guys got family in Europe. You guys got family in the Caribbean islands, and it's by the boatload. So, it's best that y'all gather up in these last days and remember who y'all are. All right, because y'all family, y'all the Smith family. All right, this is Teller Nicholas with the Noble House of Saint Nicholas, Vintage Saints of Israel, and House of Jacob. Shalom.